Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for the introduction. Today, what I'm going to do is going to be giving you a glimpse on our research. I'm Nicola Secciani from the Department of Industrial Engineering and specifically from the Mechatronics and Dynamic Modeling Lab. So I would like to start by breaking the title down to two keywords: hand and wearable robotics. Let's start from the latter. What is a wearable robot? Probably many of us already knows it, but it's something that can complement, substitutes, enhance, or extends the human function or some sort of human capability or the capability of the limb where it is worn. If you want to look at some example, we can look directly into the market and see many of the commercial available robots. You see something like the Guardian XO by Sarcos Robotics that extends human beyond human capabilities, something that complements, something that substitutes. We already seen something like that in the previous presentation, and something that enhances human function, maybe prolonging the endurance during some heavy tasks. Why the hand instead? Hand, of course, can do so much for us, and there's no mystery in all the many and wide variety of things hands can do. And for this reason, hands are an important part of our lives and also a vitally important part of who we are and how we see ourselves. As a result of all these many wonders that hand can do, it all falls down when the loss of hand function impacts our life and deeply deteriorates it, deeply deteriorates people's quality of life. For this reason, we know that we must do something, of course, but in this dramatic, let's say, scenario, wearable robotics can, of course, lend a hand, pun intended. So, how we're doing this? We, as a research group, are working and researching on hand exoskeleton for assistance and rehabilitations for about a decade. We started back in 2014 with our first hand exoskeleton prototype, and through the years, we've evolved in different technologies we've used and also different prototypes developed thanks to different and several collaboration with clinical partners. I don't know if you can see the laser pointer, clinical partners, different universities, both Italian and European university, and also some companies that accompanied us in this path, doing some research with us and helping us to reach theoretical level that were much higher than the ones we could reach just in our labs. What we are doing within the Tuscany Health Ecosystem framework is working on the Spoke 9, and we are committed to fine-tune and test our latest hybrid architecture and exoskeleton prototype. The question that might arise now is why going to hybrid architecture? Why combining hard and soft components? The answer is represented in this table, and it's simple as it is. I mean, nothing can be perfect, so rigid and soft components have each its pros and cons that can be summarized in these key characteristics. So, for example, rigid architectures, that means metal or plastic architectures, are very good at kinematic accuracy. And when you want to actuate something that relates to the human body, you want to be sure that the motion is good. You want to be sure that you're not making some wrong poses, harming the wearer, for example. Instead, soft and components excels at size and weight and compliance. So soft components are usually lighter and smaller and offers you the compliance you want. I mean, it has to be the material that bends to the body will instead of the other way around. So you want, for safety reason especially, you want to assure a great compliance of the device. Last but not least, force transmission is instead something where rigid components are good. So if you want to, you can reach high level of force transmitted with soft components, but you need also a big compressor or a big hydraulic system, something to pump energy into the system before they can effectively transmit force. Okay, so how do we tackle hybrid architecture? What you see here in the slide is our finger mechanism. It is composed of two parts, of course. The one that is two subsystems, let's say. The one that is rigid, the second is soft, it's flexible. So we have first rigid mechanism that is nothing more than a 4-bar linkage system, which acts on the proximal phalanx. Then we have flat steel springs that instead act on the distal and middle phalanx by means of two dual point of contacts on these phalanges. And what this mechanism does is actively assisting flexion and extension motion of the hand, while passively follows abduction and adduction motion. How does it work? It works by means of a micro DC motor, that's embedded in the module in the finger mechanism. We have one motor per finger. We have one magnetic encoder per finger that can give us the information, real-time information about finger position and finger velocity that are crucial information to control the system and assuring safety and compliance with the range of motion, natural range of motion of the finger of the user. We exploit bevel gear to transmit motion between these two perpendicular axes, and that's it. We took this module and assembled all together into this prototype, which is composed by three main parts. So we have the main housing for long fingers. The terms I used here, which is modules, it means that everything is modular, so you can unplug and plug the modules at different time for different uses, or maybe for maintenance. So there's no downtime when using the device. We have an independent thumb module, which is to guarantee the complete motion of the thumb, even to these degrees of freedoms that are not actively involved by the exoskeleton. And finally, a remote actuation and control box that has been designed to be remote located in order to reduce the weight on the distal part of the upper limb, for example, on the hand. These are two of the latest embodiments of our system. We saw one first embodiment with everything packed very close to the hand, and it was good for some reasons. Let's say you don't have all these cables laying around your arm, but there were also many drawbacks. One, overall, it was the excessive weight and bulk on the distal part, of course. We didn't even put so much effort actually in the miniaturization of the box at the time. We did later on the one on the right. So other than the miniaturization of the components, we also relocated it next the shoulder joint to produce less fatigue on the upper limb, which is of course already impaired if you are in need of an exoskeleton. How do you control this? This is actually, as you see, the hardware is arrived in some sort of, it's almost ready. We are ready to test the hardware in clinics, but we are missing at the moment, we're lacking a robust control. So what we are working on now is controlling this exoskeleton through SMG signals. SMG, so muscular activity collected on the skin. We want something to be minimally invasive. In this case, we have something that is completely uninvasive. And we are doing this by combining the Mayo armband with the Ultralips, the lip motion controller from Ultralip. The idea here is to use the SMG, the measures coming from the SMG sensors and the images coming from the near infrared cameras to put together and be put together and create a heterogeneous data set in order to train AI models to recognize, real-time recognize the motion intention of the patients. This is what producing and creating these data sets appear to be. Like on the bottom of the slide, you have what the infrared cameras gives you, like real-time representation of the kinematics of the hand, and in particular of the finger. On the top, you have custom graphical user interface we developed to show real-time SMG signals, as the one we were acquiring from the SMG bracelet. I have not much time to dive deeper on this, but I'm up for answering your question if you have later. So where to look to conclude the presentation? We have, of course, still many technological, economical, and social challenges. We would like to develop something that is easily wearable, that has long autonomy, that can be trusted by people using an adaptive, robust, and reliable control. Of course, we want it to be cheap as possible, and this can be done by optimizing the production processes of these devices, but also why not by dedicated health policies from governments or local authorities. We also would like to address some social challenges in this area, let's say, by simplifying the development logistic for patients, so you don't have to have the patient with you or be constantly with the patient during development stages. That can be quite burdening for the patients. We want to get the people trust the robotics devices. And finally, something that we already start to do within the Tuscany Health Ecosystem is investigating how robotics impacts current and standard therapies right now. With this, I conclude. Thanks for your attention.
Thanks a lot for this nice presentation. Any questions? No? I was curious about the social challenges, because always, like for instance, when we talk about, we deal with vaccines, you have a social challenge to have people believe that there is an approach that's feasible. And you said we have to entrust and we have to build trust on robotics. How could you do that? I mean, I know it's a hard, tough question, but just to exchange some thoughts on that.
Yes. This is thank you for the question. That is very interesting. It's a huge topic, trusting robotics. Not only today, I think that trusting robotics means trusting AI. It's something I want to trust the intelligence someone else put inside the robot. I want to trust the intelligence that the robot may have evolved over time on its own. So this is a very huge and specific and crucial topic of today's robotics and in general ethical aspect of the. I think that so far the only thing we can do is to let people familiarize with the systems, give them much more time than the one we would like for them to have with the system before testing it. Like get to know the robots as it is a companion for life, rather than they're something that you use as a tools, because robots are going away from mere tools and being something more like that companion, life companion. So as you have to trust someone, I know can be quite ambiguous. You have to start trusting the thing, like, when you drive your car, you know how the car goes, and if there's something, you get to know it.
Yeah, I was about to say the same. I mean, you trust your car, your bicycle, the plane you take. Maybe a robot is kind of...
It's kind of, yeah, except for the part where maybe the car can be driven on its own. I don't know, in the near future, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, but in general, we trust about someone or something after an experience with him or with it. Yeah.
So I'm sorry, there's no specific answer for that. Probably I'm not the person to ask it, but thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.